They say I like it too much, but I say I don't like it enough. Go on, Zane.
Welcome to another brand new episode of Undisputed Nerds, coming to you live on YouTube. That's right, make sure to subscribe. I am one of your hosts, Zane Taicho. As always, I am joined by my fantastic co-host, the Gentlemanly Gamer.
Hello, everyone in Radio Land. I'm trying to mix it up a bit. Hello,
Yeah.
How are you, Zane?
Do you know what's crazy? In that intro, I popped my back. Like I heard it click, like that noise as
Yeah. It's almost like you're getting old.
Shh.
It's almost like between the one of us, you're the one who should have had a nap, and that's why we're late for this podcast.
Yeah,
it was a very good nap, though. I actually almost did my neck in earlier on when I was playing. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I don't know why I'm saying this on a podcast. I almost did my neck in playing Mortal Kombat earlier on.
Wow. That would have been a fatality.
I got really tense. I'm trying to play as RoboCop at the moment, and I got, because he's a DLC character, and he's not one of the regular lineup. And but I must have tensed up wrong, and I felt it would just go in my neck, and I was like, oh! Fatality.
Was this live on your stream by chance?
No. I'm about to stop streaming. Oh, sorry, guys.
Be right back.
Yes, exactly. But no, it's well, I'm glad you're doing okay. I mean, what's been going on in your world recently, Zane? I say knowingly.
I've read some comic books, been reading Devil's Reign,
Okay.
which has been really cool. Really surprising that Chip Zdarsky's
How long do I humour you for?
Going to be writing the new Batman comic. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. You sent me a message about it. That was good.
Yeah, I know.
What else did you send me a message about, Zane?
Something I didn't get to send you a message about, funny enough, is there's a spin-off called Superior Dr. Octopus.
Oh, right.
And this is wild. It's about Doc Ock getting the gate in the Fantastic Four, and he's picking up all these different variants of himself who've become superior versions of other heroes. So, for example, so there's like a superior Hulk.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's like a 4-man team, so so he can make the Superior 6 or Superior 4, as he wants to call it. But
he hasn't got the marketing down for the new Sinister
no,
Six.
No.
Superior 4. No.
4. Maybe Superior 8, because he's
Nefarious 4. Why hasn't he gone with that? It's just, honestly, there you go.
But yeah, there's a Wolverine one, a Hulk, a Ghost Rider.
Oh, right, okay.
And there's another one, but I can't remember. I think
Iron Man probably, or something, is it?
No, they beat up an Iron Man.
They technically already had Superior Iron Man, haven't they?
Yeah.
When he was in Axis. Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting, Zane. So that's all that's happened to you this week. You've had no other messages, nothing else to talk about.
No, none at all.
Really? Oh, okay. So you're going to make me bring it up.
Yeah, go on. You want to go there?
So, Zane has received a direct message from a television personality, well, not personality, but a television executive, inviting him onto a reality TV show. Haven't you, Zane?
I have, yeah.
Which TV show was it, Zane?
A show, I believe it's called, is it Beauty and the Geeks or Geeks and the Beauty?
It is called Beauty and the Geek.
Okay.
So, I mean, obviously they're hiring you as the beauty.
That was my follow-up question, believe it or not.
You don't know what the show's about, do you?
No, I don't.
Would you like me to tell you what this show is about?
Yeah, go on.
Have you ever seen The Bachelor? Or do you know The Bachelor?
Yeah.
So imagine The Bachelor, but it's a very attractive. Well, it could be a man or a lady. It's a very attractive male or female beauty,
right? Mm-hmm.
And then they get, I can't remember how many they are. Let's say 8. Stereotypical geeks to go on and woo her.
Oh wow.
And whoever wins, I think it's. Oh no, wait, it's not. No, wait, hang on. I'm wrong. It's not like The Bachelor. It's pairings. So each they do one beauty with one geek. So there are like 8 couples, and they each
Right.
get one beauty and one geek. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've seen it. I apologize. And yeah, at the basically they all have to go through challenges and and they all live in this weird mansion together.
Oh.
Yeah, the nerds love it. And then at the end of it, somebody wins a cash prize. So
wow.
yeah, they obviously hired you to be one of the beauties. So
obviously, yeah.
Yeah. I when I saw that message from you, I was in the middle of a restaurant with my mum and dad and my wife, and I cried laughing at the table. And they were like, "What the hell is going on?" And then I showed my wife, who's also seen the show, and she started crying laughing as well. I think it's fantastic, Zane. You're hitting the big time, I'm afraid. Big time, Zane.
I know, yeah. This is it. Like,
it's wild.
In my Instagram DMs, they just slide in all these offers. Like,
I can't believe this, guys. He's been headhunted. This is the kind of, you see, I've been making an in-joke recently about his other podcast, Undisputed Anime, but this is the kind of impact that the black anime community has had on Zane, that he's now getting television offers.
Whoa. Look, it's a numbers game, isn't it? Just because I've got a couple of followers on Instagram, they're like, hey, there's something about this guy.
This guy, he's hitting the highs of what we want from geekhood.
He's got an audience. They'll vote for him.
I think it's great. I definitely think you should do it. I definitely think you should. It'd be absolutely hilarious. I mean, it'll be really good for your life.
It'll do wonders for the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we want.
A new audience.
Yeah, precisely. Go on there wearing your Undisputed Nerds merch.
So, funny enough, like I said, one of my questions were, thank you for your message. Out of interest, would I be considered the beauty or the geek? And then the response I got was, absolutely no reason why you couldn't be a bit of both.
What a bunch of smooth talking winners. I'd like to see other geeks that they messaged who asked the same question, and they just went, "You're a geek."
Yeah.
Oh, Zane, I think this is marvelous. Like, you're officially a television personality now. We need to ride this success home. We're going to officially change your name to TV Zane. Or Zane TV, whichever you prefer. Sounds wrong now. I'm saying it. It's just,
or we could do like the Hollywood Hogan sort of Hollywood Zane.
Yes. This is what we needed.
There you go.
This is what we needed. And I want you to dye your hair and part of your beard blonde to match the Hogan look. I think this is fantastic. This is brilliant. Well, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about Zane Taicho being the latest beauty/geek to go on Beauty and the Geek? Write into us. Let us know your thoughts through the usual podcast channels. So, Zane, what are we going to talk about this week?
This week we are going to give our thoughts and review on The Kingsman. That's right, a movie that came out just towards the end of 2021, but has just landed on Disney Plus. So we thought it'd be a great time to get a little discussion going.
We're going to get a little fine with fines as far as this discussion of the King. Yeah, I think there was a lot going on over Christmas with The Matrix and with Spider-Man No Way Home and Hawkeye. Unfortunately, Kingsman slipped under the radar for us. So now that it's been released on Disney Plus, as Zane said, we'll give it our 2 cents and have a little conversation about the series, I think, as well, just broadly, and give our thoughts. But Zane, We all know, before we do that,
Mhm.
we've got our regularly recurring segments, starting with everyone's favorite, universally praised, friend of the show. It's time for What's All the Rage with Nicolas Cage. Oh, it's silence. That's a shame. Anyway, so moving on. It didn't play. It didn't play. No. That was all that build up. I got all that build up, and it just went.
Wait. I think I got it. Hold on. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah, just and then one of the Native Americans said, "Oh, Nick's just gonna get off the horse. We'll get on." Okay, fine. I'll do it.
All right, it was worth the wait. Yeah, that's good. Get off the horse. Okay, I'll do it. All right. So, I hope you're sitting down for this one, Zane. I know you are. It's just a rhetorical thing. Was promoting Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance in 2011. I didn't even know he was in this, but Idris Elba recalled an incident on location in Romania. And it really exemplifies Cage's professional commitment to roles, Zane.
Yeah.
He noticed that Cage appeared quite tired one day. And Elba, very, as a nice man he is, asked, have you gotten any rest, mate? And Nicolas Cage responded by saying, "Yeah, man, I went up to Dracula's castle that ruins in the mountains, and I just stayed the night." Cage said, I just had to channel the energy. It was pretty spooky up there. So Nicolas Cage stayed the night in Dracula's castle randomly. People believe that Cage were referring to Bran Castle, which is near Transylvania, which may have been the inspiration for Dracula's residence in the original Bram Stoker novel. Now, of all the things that he's done in his life, sleeping in Dracula's castle, I'm not really surprised at you.
No. What's more surprising is how much of his life is like, I mean, like how much around it is based off like Dracula. Do you know what I mean? Like Francis Ford Coppola, like he's in a new like vampire movie as we speak. There's just so much to do with him and Dracula. It's crazy.
I mean, there is a lot. Let me put it this way, right? So Nicolas Cage news, okay? I can normally go on Google and type in Nicolas Cage news, and I normally get a variety of different things. Anywhere from him saying, I don't want to be referred to as an actor, I want to be called a thespian, to to like Nicolas Cage just bought a tomb pyramid. But like, I basically found this Nicolas Cage site, and that this is we're not even halfway through the Nicolas Cage facts. This is going to go on for a while, and let me tell you, one of them later on is trippy as hell, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. But yeah, this is a man who's had one hell of a life, and he's lived it to its fullest. I think there was an interview where he talked about this is a bonus Nick Cage fact, excuse me. He was talking about his fact he's been married 5 times.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, I know I've been married a lot of times, but I think this one's the one. It's like, just say you think it is. You've got no idea, really, do you, Nick? Let's be honest.
Oh, Nick.
Make sure about it before you have a baby with them. Oh, too late. You're having a baby with them. Anyway.
Kryptonians.
Yes, that's the thing. Kryptonians, they're not monogamous, are they? So that's what he believes in. But no, that is Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage, Rage in the Cage this week. So yeah, guys, if you've got any Nicolas Cage facts that you want read out on the show, or you've got any bizarre stories with Nicolas Cage, we want to hear weird stories with Nicolas Cage, right? I want to hear Nicolas Cage bought you peanuts at an airport, or Nicolas Cage like possessed my cat. I want to hear weird Nicolas Cage stories. So if you want to write into us, it's nerdsundisputed@gmail.com, or get in touch with us through the usual means on Instagram, on Facebook, on tickety talk thing, or whatever you want to get a hold of us on. And we'd love to hear from you. So, yes, should we move on to the old tips and bits, Zany boy?
Oh, yes. Let's do it.
All right. So, it's right around the corner, Zane. It is right around the corner. Batman. We've got three Batman stories this week. One follows on from last week's one, which we were talking about. So I'll start with that one. So Tech Radar did an interview with Matt Reeves, and there is a big old speculation right now around Barry Keegan. I can never say his name. Keegan.
Yeah.
Keegan. I think it's Keegan. And I'll read the quote out. Okay. So this is from Reeves himself. There were scenes that we like. There are scenes that I like that we cut. In fact, there's a scene with the unseen prisoner who appears at the end of the movie in Arkham Asylum with the Riddler. There was an earlier scene where Batman went to Arkham to try to profile the Riddler, and Barry is in that scene. It's a very cool scene, and I'm sure we'll release the scene after the movie comes out because it's a really cool deleted scene.
Oh.
So, speculation runs rife again, but also it seems like they've cut his scene. So, Reeves has maintained there's not going to be a director's cut of this film. So it sounds like they'll just throw the deleted scene out there as an extra little piece. But do we still think he's playing Joker, or what do we think? If he's going to, I like the idea that Batman's going to profile the Riddler at Arkham. I think that's awesome. Like, that's really cool.
That's very cool.
It makes me more lean into the idea that he's playing someone like Jervis Tetch, like the Mad Hatter, instead of playing Joker.
Oh wow, what a pull! Yeah.
Well, we talked about it last week with the because the only description of the guy, he's obviously just named this unnamed Arkham prisoner, and we did say that the only definitive thing was the hyena-like laugh, and I said it might be a bit of a red herring because everyone just assumes it's Joker because of the laugh. But what if it was someone else who laughs like a maniac, like the Mad Hatter? But yeah, what do you think, Zane?
It's an expensive scene to delete, isn't it? To hire a up-and-coming actor, because let's face it, it's not like he's an unknown actor or this is his first breakout role or anything. He was an Eternal like less than a year ago, so it's an expensive scene to cut, especially as we said last week, with so much conversation about a sequel possibly on the table already.
Hold your thoughts on that one. Got more news coming up.
It's bizarre. And the fact that they'll leave it to a deleted scene.
Yeah. Also interesting that he says, I guess it's like, I assume, because he does talk about there being a scene at the end of the movie with him in it. So,
right.
So the quote is, there's a scene with the unseen prisoner who appears at the end of the movie in Arkham Asylum with the Riddler. And then there was an earlier scene where Batman met him and it was cut out. So I guess he's still going to be in the movie.
Okay.
But I said to you, maybe that does actually lean into more to the idea that it was Joker. Because we did say that you and I thought that the after credits sting would be a Joker appearance by this guy. Yeah. And if it's right at the end of the movie, then yeah. I guess, spoiler alert, by the way, Riddler gets put into Arkham. Thanks, Matt Reeves. He's not dead then.
Yeah.
So
I kind of wonder they're going to do the whole Batman Begins thing where he flips the card over, that sort of cliche where he's like, I'll look into it.
That was the best. Okay, so whilst I do agree that is funny, that voice particularly was perfect. For my money, that is one of the best end movie stings I've ever experienced in my life, because it was so well done. Yeah. It was just so well done. I love that. And you're wearing Kevlar. Anyway, moving on.
God bless Gary Oldman.
Oh, Gary Oldman, you absolute legend. You absolute legend. So the Batman, it actually had its UK premiere was last night in London.
Oh, yeah.
Now, MTV have released a video with some of the outlets in attendance, sharing their feedback. Would you like to hear some of these feedbacks from opening night?
Yeah, why not? What are the normal people saying?
These are not normal people, just for the record. So MTV Movies Hannah Flint it's described Matt Reeves delivers a nail-biting, gritty, and fun Batman coming-of-age story. Unilad described the movie as absolutely euphoric. Empire Magazine felt it was gripping. Total Film sensational. And Insider believes Robert Pattinson will be your new favorite Batman.
Oh,
now
big words.
As you said, glowing initial reactions are almost always to be expected. But there literally hasn't been any. It doesn't seem like there's been any negative reactions to this at all. Like there's been like test screenings. It was ages ago. So it's a really good sign. The embargo is officially lifted on Monday, which is the 28th. So we'll find out what the first reviews and initial thoughts were.
Okay.
Thoughts on the initial reactions, and are you excited, Zane?
I'm getting a little bit more excited. I really want to see Matt Reeves' version of Batman. I'm more intrigued of this. I hate to use the word dark because it gets thrown around all the time like a
detective.
wet towel.
Use detective.
Yeah, this noir, I guess, is another sort of
LA noir style Batman. Yeah, that's what I agree with you.
Yeah. So I am excited to see what his vision looks like, really, more than anything, and the style, and of course the way they kind of portray it and such. Plus, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a side by side shot of like Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz.
Correct.
At a premiere, and their outfits are identical to a comic book panel of.
Really?
Yeah. I'll have a look. I'm
That's
pretty sure
awesome.
Tom King tweeted it because it was one of an artist he worked with on his Batman run, and he was like, "How did they know?" Like,
oh, that's cool.
It's identical.
That is very cool. I'm super excited. I've been excited for this since the Something in the Way trailer, like that from Fandom, the first one. I cannot wait for this film. I hope I'm not going to be Suicide Squadded. The second trailer was, I will say, the first trailer is still one of the greatest trailers I've ever seen in my life. I still stand by that. The second one was really good. It wasn't as exciting as the first one. I do hope they do the Court of Owls in this. I really do. There's definitely going to be more to it than just the Riddler.
So
yeah, I'm to be perfectly blunt, I'm just really excited to see some. Oh, that's crazy. That's so wild.
That's crazy, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the dress is slightly different, is all I'll say to that. But yes, that is really crazy. So yeah, for those of you, go and check out on YouTube if you're not watching it, if you're listening to our podcast, because that is eerily similar. What was I going to say? Sorry. So, I'm just excited to see different versions of some villains. Like, it's like we're seeing the Riddler, like a dark, again, you hate to use the word, but like a more gritty, realistic, I guess, version of the Riddler, and like the Penguin finally again, he hasn't been the Penguin there, or there hasn't been a Penguin for 30 years. This is the first Penguin in 30 years. So like, I know Gotham. I know, guys. All right, I'm just saying, as far as on screen. So yeah, I'm super excited. Well, I mean, everything seems good for the Batman. Responses seem good. Projections seem good. So, earlier in the year, we did have. There was an interview with Matt Reeves where he played coy about returning.
Did he?
Yes, and returning for a trilogy or a sequel. However, things have seemed to have changed for him. And Screen Rant spoke to him as well during this junket they're doing, and he has revealed that I'll read the whole quote. I really believe in what we've done, and I'd be excited to tell more stories. We're already telling other stories in the streaming space. We're doing stuff on HBO Max. We're doing a Penguin show with Colin Farrell, which is going to be cool. And we're working on some other stuff too. But we have started talking about another movie.
Okay.
So there will be another Batman, it looks like. The Batman. There will be another The Batman. And the grammar police will murder me. So, yeah, I'm not really surprised by this. Like the overall reception has been incredibly positive to a lot of different things. I mean, from Pattinson, I think it's interesting. Pattinson has not had. Well, I don't think so anyway. Feel free to correct me, nerds out there, but I don't think Pattinson has had the same kind of negative reaction that your favorite actor in the universe, Ben Affleck, had when he, became Batman. Everyone seems to be really on board with Pattinson being Batman. I'm not sure if it's because Pattinson's turns in The Lighthouse and in Tenet was so good because he is really good in those films. If you haven't seen The Lighthouse, by the way, guys, oh man, it is. If you're a fan of cinema and trippy horror films, watch that film. It's really good. It's really, really good. Him and Willem Dafoe just being a two-man piece for like 2 hours is incredible. But yeah, I'm excited to see more of this before I've even seen the film. So
yeah, definitely. It's the whole premise of taking a character which was, let's face it, kind of kooky with the Riddler. Like, we all know Riddler could be so much more, but has never had that space to be more. He's always been just a weirdo in either a leotard or a dapper suit with a bowler hat. I mean, Batman animated series is probably the closest we ever got to like a really cool Riddler. Otherwise, he's, like you said, I think last week, he's always a footnote to something much bigger.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Which could be the case here, but at least he gets that room to be something greater than he has been in previously. So yeah, if they can do that with more characters, like again we speculated last week, Clayface, could they do something with Killer Croc? I don't know. It's kind of a
possibly. That's not a bad shout. I mean, I always think with Croc, it's like you don't need to have. Croc could be quite a good bad guy, even with just a genetic mutation that makes him look like a crocodile. He doesn't have to be. I know that it's. Yeah, I know the idea is it's supposed to be, but like if you want to ground it, there are ways around it. You could have like a serial killer who, his mutation drives him to murder people and eat them or something. There's
like
always that
a Man-Bat sort of scenario. The tragedy of that. Or
Man-Bat is a difficult one to. The problem with Man-Bat is that it's how do you play it? Because Langstrom, you could either present that as like he's a psychopath who wants to become a bat, or you can play it as a family man who's trying to cure deafness and experiments on himself and it goes wrong. The problem with filling a 2-hour movie with that is that once he becomes Man-Bat, it's very one note because you can't. He's just a bat, like a giant bat that wants to suck, blood, or and doesn't have any kind of. It's just a beast. So I guess you would have to do it as he's like kind of a psychopath and just experimenting on himself, and then like you get it. It keeps coming back over and over again. But you're right. There's so many good villains. Like there's so many. I mean, you mentioned Professor Pig last week. Like he's a great shout. I wouldn't necessarily. Hush is one I would like. I genuinely would really like to see Hush on screen. Really, Hugo Strange as well.
Ooh, Hugo Strange, yeah. Like the psychology of it.
Well, he's the only person who actually, apart from Tim Drake, he's the only person who works out who Batman is.
Yeah. I
mean,
or Scarface, the little puppet, like.
The ventriloquist.
Yeah.
There are literally. There's so many bad. I think, as far as my wish list is concerned, Clayface and Mr. Freeze are the top two on my list that I would like to see in a live action Batman movie. Like, there's so much potential for both of those characters. there's been multiple different Clayfaces as well, so you don't have to necessarily do Basil Carlo, although he's really good, and like it's an interesting thing to have this failed actor who considers like every crime like a role. I like that a lot. But yeah, I think the thing I'm most excited about this, not the most excited thing, but they seem to be establishing that that the thing that the Batman movies have never really done is the fact that it's like Gotham itself is a character.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gotham as a world is its own character, and then Batman is a central. It's almost like it's its own chessboard, and Batman is the central piece to it. But then all these other things are happening around him at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you mentioned Riddler there. It's like, yeah, we haven't seen a cool Riddler. Like there's a period of time in the books where Riddler becomes a detective. Like he decides he's had enough of being a criminal, and he is suggesting the greatest riddles of all are crimes that he can solve. And there's a run in the books where he becomes like Detective Riddler, basically. And that, like it's really interesting, and I love stuff like that. You've got Penguin being a little arms dealer, and it seems like they're trying to build that up and create that world where Gotham is itself a character, that all these other people gravitate around, which is really good. Because I'm sorry, Gotham the TV series didn't do a great job with that. I'm sorry.
Nope, nada.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Anyway, we are excited to see more of the Batman. I do believe that the Undisputed Nerds will be the first film that we're watching together at the cinema. Not ever. We've obviously seen films at the cinema together before, but like officially on this podcast, we're going to be seeing it together.
I know. Yeah, that'd be exciting.
It's all booked. It's all ready. It's all ready. Yeah. And you're going to meet. You've never met my brother, have you?
No.
Well, he's listened to the podcast, so he knows you. Anyway, that sounded threatening. I didn't mean it to sound threatening. Sorry. Let's just say my brother's a big fan of Beauty and the Geek. Anyway, let's move over to Marvel. So, Zane.
Yes.
What's the film you're most looking forward to coming out in the Marvel verse over the next few years?
Blade.
Nope, you're wrong. Obviously, it's Morbius. Morbius is coming. The final trailer for Morbius will debut and will show up apparently this week, because apparently we haven't seen enough of it. But don't worry, Zane, because not only is the trailer showing up, they're worried they haven't shown us enough of this movie. So also there's going to be a featurette called The Law of Morbius turning up next week.
Christ.
It spotlights some new footage from the movie, along with interview snippets with star Jared Leto, who suggests that Morbius will explore the supernatural side of the Marvel Universe in a way we haven't seen before. Talking about how we're excited for the Batman. Are you excited to see the missing parts of the film that was revealed in the trailers of Morbius?
Oh no! Sony, just stop.
This is our new Venom v Carnage.
Yeah.
This is it.
It
We're
will
all
be, yeah.
excited about it.
And then we just saw too much.
Yeah, I feel like it's Matt. You know what? You know whose problem it is? Because I just looked at the cast listing. So the cast of Morbius, in addition to Jared Leto, also includes Jared Harris, who's he's a really famous actor. He's one of those guys who's like, he's been in loads of things, and you go, oh, it's that guy.
Okay.
He was in Chernobyl. He's been in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes films.
Yes. Yeah.
He's Moriarty.
Oh, right. Yes.
Him.
He's in Mad Men as well. Yeah.
He is in Mad Men. I wasn't going to bring that up because he has a very horrible end in that. Anyway, so yeah, it's include Jared Harris, Tyrese Gibson.
From Fast and Furious.
Yep, correct. Michael Keaton, obviously we know about that. And Matt Smith. Matt Smith's in this.
I know. Yeah. Really weird.
Let's just go through some of Matt Smith's. I'm just going to bring up IMDb, and you and I can look at Matt Smith's career after Doctor Who. Now, I'm going to say there is a glaring exception to what I'm about to say, which is Last Night in Soho, which is
Yes.
apparently excellent, and I need to see it. And I was disappointed I didn't get to see it when it was on at the cinema, but that's how the cookie crumbles. Let me just go through some of these films that he's done after Doctor Who. So he was obviously in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Then he was in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Of course.
Okay. He's been in Official Secrets. He was in Patient Zero. If any of these like sprung out at you, then let me know. I'm working my way up to the big one. So he was in His House. He was in a TV movie called Superworm.
Wow.
And yeah, this really tells you where his career went. He was in Terminator Genesis.
See, I knew that one.
I mean, he's not picking the best roles in the world, is he?
Mm.
The only
Thing is,
he does have. I mean, he was in. He's in Last Night in Soho, and he's also in The Crown because he was Prince Philip in The Crown, which is apparently very, very, very good. So he has done the thing I'm actually excited about. I will let you speak. I'm sorry, Zane. I apologize.
No worries. I'll put a pin in it.
He's in the House of the Dragon. He's Daemon Targaryen in the prequel. Still
going ahead. I thought it had been cancelled.
They filmed it. No, they filmed it. It's all done. They've had screenshots of the actual thing. No, they cancelled. I know what you're thinking of. They cancelled the 2,000 years before, like the origin of the White Walkers story. They cancelled that one. That one's cancelled. No, the House of the Dragon. I look. We're all annoyed at how Game of Thrones turned out. It still hurts all of us. But man, that I tell you, the screenshots I've seen of that, he looks excellent in it. Like it looks really good. I was like, oh yeah, man, that guy could totally be an inbred prince. That's amazing. But yeah, his name in Morbius is Loxius Crown.
Perfect. That character.
Obviously famous character Loxius Crown.
Obviously the one character that's gonna bridge Venom into
Absolutely. You were going to say something about Matt Smith and I cut you off. I apologize. What were you going to say?
I remember him leaving Doctor Who for a movie that was going to be directed by Ryan Gosling.
Did he?
Yeah. I think it was like a sort of indie movie sort of thing. And Ryan Gosling said like he thought Matt Smith was perfect after watching an episode of Doctor Who where he's at Stonehenge like shouting at the spaceships.
That's a great scene, to be fair. I really love that scene.
It's a good scene, yeah.
I struggle. So when we talk about Doctor Who, I struggle with whether or not my favorite series of Doctor Who is Christopher Eccleston's one series, David Tennant's first series, or Matt Smith's first series, because I love all three of those series.
Yeah,
so much. Like Matt Smith's first series of Doctor Who. That turned me into I think I was already super into it because of David Tennant, but then the Matt Smith one made me like, oh, I'm gonna watch this until it goes, until it stops. I'm in all the way on this. Yeah. Like the bit when he's like the 11th hour is still one of the best regen episodes ever, because when he just when he comes through the hologram after he's just showed all the faces and he just goes, hello, I'm the Doctor, and I was like, oh, it's so good.
Great stinger. I have to throw it in there. I know we're on a Doctor Who tangent, but dare I say it's my best? It's probably my favorite episode. Is the it's a really super short episode of the 8th Doctor coming back, and it's that period just before he regenerates into
War Doctor,
John Hurt. Yeah,
that's good, man.
That exclusive one, I was just kind of like Paul McGann back.
It's a rumor that Paul McGann, they might actually make Paul McGann the Doctor again. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, there's loads of rumors flying around about who's going to be the next Doctor, and a lot of people have been saying they're going to bring back David Tennant again, which is
I have heard that one.
That's not going to happen, guys. But some people were saying there was a rumor that they might be doing whilst he's still young enough to portray him, they might do Paul McGann again because he, it's been established the Doctor can choose what face he wants, and so there's a theory that he wants to go back to a time before the Time War and all this other kind of stuff. And they want to get somebody from the old, like to bridge the gap from the old generation into the new, with T. Davis coming back. And so McGann's still young enough to be able to do it. And he never got a fair crack at it because he only did the one movie. So McGann might be coming back.
I'm gonna be honest. If he comes back, he'll fill my heart with so much joy. Like I'll probably cry. Like,
I think it's probably going to be I genuinely think it's going to be the guy from Years and Years, the guy who was in the band Years and Years, and then he became an actor. And I can't remember what he's in.
It's like Ollie.
Yeah, that guy Ollie. I was going to say Ollie Murs, not Ollie Murs. What is the guy's name? That's going to drive me crazy. I think it's much more likely to be him because I know Russell T Davies is a huge fan of his, and
he was the lead on one of his shows, weren't he?
That's why that's the thing I'm talking about. Yeah, because he's just been in that,
and that's the thing that Russell T Davies likes to do. He likes to use the same leads from other projects because Tenet was from was it Casanova, like a Casanova TV show?
Yes, it was, and
then Doctor Who happened,
yeah. Ollie Alexander, that's the guy's name. Ollie Alexander. Yeah. I think it's much more likely to be him. I think they're probably going to go back to kind of a young hip Doc, make it really cool. It's a Sin. That's what he's just been in. That was the TV series that is on Channel 4. Was like crazy popular, and it was written by Russell T Davies. So that's why I think a lot of people are going, oh yeah, he's gonna be the next Doctor Who. I can think of worse people, but yeah, McGann might be. I mean, it would set a weird precedent to have him be the first Doctor to come back. But I don't know. Stranger things have happened. I think it's probably a case of the BBC going, please bring back David Tennant because he was so popular and he sent the show in so many different directions. And Russell T Davies going, no, I want my guy, and David Tennant is not going to do it. But you never know.
Yeah,
I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see David Tennant come back for a one-off episode again.
Oh yeah.
He'll be back for the 60th.
Yeah, any sort of anniversary or special, I can imagine he'll be there without a doubt.
There's also a rumor. The other rumor. We're doing Doctor Who news now. This is like, sorry guys.
What a tangent.
So the 60th, there is a rumor now that that Russell T Davies is trying to mend bridges with Christopher Eccleston. Because he's Eccleston is now open to being the Doctor again because he's been doing it for Big Time, the radio. He's doing a series of Ninth Doctor adventures with the Big
audio.
Time. Yeah, audio adventures with them as the Ninth Doctor. So he is officially coming. He's doing Doctor Who work again for Big Time. It was basically repairing the relationship with the producers of Doctor Who. I can't remember whether he fell out with Russell T Davies or whether he fell out with someone else. I know there was two of them, Russell T Davies and somebody else, and basically the reason he left was he fell out with one of them. So we could be seeing 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 for the 60th anniversary, which would be
mad.
Amazing. That would be so good. That would be so good. So yeah,
would that be the most on screen at one time?
Yes,
because
I mean,
I think
let's be honest,
right? 5.
Yeah, let's be honest. It's unlikely that we're going to get all of them, but I'm 99%. I'm 99% positive. Capaldi would come back. Tennant would come back. Matt Smith, if they can get the timing right, probably he'll come back. Mm-hmm. The unknowns with that is is Christopher Eccleston and Jodie Whittaker. I don't know if Jodie Whittaker seems to have had the best experience doing Doctor Who, I don't think.
Yeah.
And she's quite heavily pregnant as well at the moment. So
I didn't know that.
Whether or not she'll come back, I don't know. Anyway, that's enough Doctor Who talk. We've got way more news to cover, which I didn't even. But there you go. There's your Doctor Who wrap up for the last year that we haven't talked about it. So you mentioned earlier on about Tyrese Gibson, Zane. I was going to do a beautiful segue before I started talking about Doctor Who.
Okay.
But obviously, you said Tyrese Gibson is in the Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to take a guess this week as to which Marvel actress has declared that she wants to join the Fast and the Furious franchise? You're never going to guess this, just for the record.
Is it? I'm gonna throw one out there. Is it? I'm gonna mispronounce this. Is it Syama Halik?
To quote the unquotable Kevin Spacey, wrong! No, it is Brie Larson has declared that she wants to join the Fast and Furious. So asked if it's a dream of hers to take part in one of the high-octane action movies when she brought it up with an interview with Uprocks. Larson responded, 100%. Please tell everybody I would, of course, want to be in a Fast and the Furious movie. I'm obsessed. I love them. I think they're so good. They're so fun. And they've made me appreciate cars. And it's something that should be appreciated. They're incredible.
You're right. That would have been the last person.
I know, right? How weird is that? So, yeah, we may be seeing Captain Marvel showing up in the Fast and the Furious. I know what's going to happen now. It's going to be, we'll see it now. It'll be Dom. He's in dire straits. He's in his car. We all know what the situation is. He's about to die, and then you see him turn to the camera and just say, "You can never doubt the familia." And then here comes Captain Marvel out of the sky to pull him out of his car and save him.
Nice.
And then she holds him in his arms and he just says, "Where you been, Auntie?" There you go. That's it.
On to the sequel.
Exactly. Yeah, so expect to see Brie Larson in the Fast and the Furious in the future, because I'm sure you don't name drop like that if you're not planning on being in one of those franchises.
But saying that, funny enough, there was a rumor going around. I don't know how, factual this is, but there was a rumor that they were planning on doing another spin-off, but it was centered around the female cast. So
go on.
I think it would have been like Letty would have been the Dom of that movie, and then maybe Dom's sister and Helen Mirren maybe
Dominic
come
Toretto.
back. What?
Well, because otherwise, if you just say she's going to be the Dom of that movie, it sounds very dodgy.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes, she's going to be the Dominic Toretto of that movie, correct?
So, yeah,
you don't
that was a
say
rumor.
Now, do you?
Hey. All I know is that there was a rumor going around about maybe there would be a spin-off with an all-female cast.
Yeah, I mean, they did that with everything, though, didn't they? Like, they said that for everything. Like, they had Ocean's 8, which was an all-female. Like, Hollywood went on a kind of like they were even talking about doing an all-female Avengers movie. Alpha Flight, what's the...
A-Force?
A-Force, that was it, thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that was banded around, but I don't know. She'll be a bad guy anyway. She has to be a bad guy. So let's move on to some crazy otherworldly conversations about multiverse stuff. So there has been an interview this week with Joe Russo. We all know Joe Russo. He appeared at DICE 2022 and he talked to IGN about the multiverse concept. And unlike many people, Joe Russo is very concerned about the multiverse. And he thinks that it's running the risk of outstaying its welcome, as Hollywood is planning to capitalize on the new successful trend. And this was the quote he gave to IGN. "The corporate agenda is, do you like chocolate ice cream? Well, here's chocolate ice cream with sprinkles. Here's chocolate ice cream with fudge. It's their job to turn the money printer on. It's the creative's job to say, I'm going to swear, well, shit, I don't know if I want to watch that." So, yeah, too much of one thing is a bad thing. But I think there are enough creators and innovators in the space where you can expect to be surprised Just don't expect corporations to surprise you. So, Joe Russo is clearly worried about oversaturation of the multiverse now, and the idea is that we're going to get it piled onto us. I 100% agree with him and can see where he's coming from with this. What are your thoughts on this one, Zane?
Yeah, I can see where he's coming from. I think I saw a similar article about this earlier in the week, and it did cross my mind, like, when will there be a point where they'll stop doing the multiverse stuff and then try and put it back in its box? Do you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, you've opened this window now to infinite possibilities, and then there's going to be a point where you're like, okay, we can't do that anymore. Let's shelve it. But how do you then shelve it?
Exactly. I imagine the multiverse will come to a conclusion when Kang is defeated, I would guess. And they say maybe life was better with the one sacred timeline. I don't know, but
yeah,
it's difficult. It's a difficult thing. You're right. How do you put the genie back in the bottle once it's out? But yeah, well, speaking of multiverses, obviously Spider-Man No Way Home has been out for a while now. There was a very funny interview with Charlie Cox. So spoilers, guys, for Spider-Man No Way Home. If you've not seen it, I've already said his name, so it's a bit late for that. But anyway, Charlie Cox, who's in Spider-Man No Way Home, he was talking to the Radio Times about his debut in No Way Home. And he's basically been asked again by people, when is Daredevil going to be on screen? But instead of being coy about it, he's now saying, I don't know much, but I know that there will be something. And then he went on to talk about his experience with being in Spider-Man No Way Home. And I'll read this quote to you because it's fantastic. There is a swear in this, so I apologize in advance. It's funny. I got so many text messages and so many calls about that moment in the cinema. My nephew sent me a recording of everyone cheering. So I snuck into a movie theater near where I live and literally stood in the corridor. And sadly, my experience was it was fucking dead quiet. I was so disappointed. My wife was there with me and she was recording me because it'd be fun to have that moment of everyone cheering and then tumbleweed. Poor old Charlie Cox cannot cut a break.
Charlie.
Charlie bit my finger. Even when he is like trying to make a nice Instagram meme of things with his reaction of everyone cheering him. There's not much to say about this one, Zane, other than there is going to be more Daredevil coming, and we kind of knew there was more Daredevil coming, but God bless Charlie Cox. He's a wonderful, but I love him as a human being. He's just the nicest fantastic guy ever.
Yeah.
There was an early video of him and Andrew Garfield together. So I guess him and Andrew Garfield went to the same acting school together. So they're very good friends. And there's been like photos and stuff coming out of the two of them hanging out together. And it's so weirdly wholesome watching an alternate version of Spider-Man with Daredevil. It's so nice. But I think I speak for you when I say we're very excited to see more Daredevil, specifically Charlie Cox Daredevil.
I mean, I've gone one length further and have been rewatching Defenders on Netflix.
Defenders, you say? Funny you should mention that, Zane. Perfectly segued into my next news thing. So we mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Daredevil, Luke Cage, the Defenders, they're all going off Netflix. Well, it has been confirmed all the Netflix MCU shows are now going to be on Disney Plus. And they will be arriving on March the 16th. So guys, if you didn't see the Netflix shows of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, etc., you get you another chance. March 16th. Go, Zane.
Am I right in thinking it's only in certain countries, though?
Listen, that's irrelevant. Okay, this may have been a Canadian press release, but that's irrelevant. All right, we all know the once it drops on one, it's going to drop on all of them. It's annoying though, because I mean, that's the thing though. Well, first of all, if you're smart, unlike me, and I need to get one, if you've got a VPN, just change your region. Fine, sorted, solved. But sponsor us, Surfshark. Or NordVPN. Other VPNs are out there. That you're right. It is in certain regions. It's Canada. It's Canada. I think it is the UK as well. The US one, they're not really clear on it, but they have confirmed that they're all going to be coming to Disney Plus. It's just the dates that they're trying to confirm now.
I think it's to do with like we have a version that has Star, which has like all the sort of other TV shows and sort of adult themed content in terms of like sitcoms and things of that nature.
It's the Fox content.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's why they created Star, was so that they could have like you are right. It's so that they could have like the R-rated, but that's where all the Fox stuff came from. It's all in the Star section.
Right.
So it's like Die Hard with a Vengeance. Oh, sorry, just Die Hard
Aliens
in general.
and stuff.
Aliens, exactly. Yeah, all that stuff is in Star because that's all the Fox stuff.
Right, I see. But my understanding is they don't have that version of Disney Plus that has Star integrated.
As far as I'm aware, no. Correct. Correct. Look at that. This man knows. He just knows. Zane, I'm going to be honest with you. You just keep segueing me into all the good stories. So whilst we're talking about Fox and the properties that came before, we cannot not talk about Patrick Stewart. It's hot. The rumors are out there. Is he going to be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Is that bald head in the trailer him? Who knows? And let's just say Patrick Stewart is giving nothing away when it comes to his response. So he's been quoted twice now about his appearance in the trailer. I'll read the first quote out. The second one is fantastic, but the first quote is so this is what he said about his appearance in the trailer the first time. He said, "Friends," I'm not going to do that. Well, I was going to friends and some people I hardly knew at all, making reference to the trailer. Is that you? Is that you? Well, of course, I was just at home waiting to watch football, so how could it possibly have been me? We'll have to wait and see, won't we? And then he'd point out, people have been imitating my voice ever since I came on the stage 60 years ago, so I can't be held responsible for that. I think I'm doing more Ian McKellen than I am Patrick Stewart.
I feel that more. You went more Gandalf than
it did.
Pro-facts.
As the crow flies. Anyway, but now in his latest little dig and little interview, it was a perfect response to the Doctor Strange rumors, where the interviewer asked him, "Is it you in the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?" And Patrick Stewart simply went, "Who's Doctor Strange?" That was it. That's all he said.
Brilliant.
Who the hell is Doctor Strange? No, it's still Ian McKellen. I can't do it. I can't do it. So yeah, I mean, I really don't know if it is going to be Patrick Stewart in that. I really don't know.
Do you know what's
how
crazy?
Funny would it be if it was McAvoy?
I was just going to say, James McAvoy is like in a cupboard somewhere, like laughing at the world.
How good would it be if they got James McAvoy's face but Stewart's voice?
That would be so trippy.
Charles. Yes. So yeah, the only other bit of news I wanted to talk about, we've kind of like it's not as good as the as ending on the Patrick Stewart thing, but what the hell? Let's go with it. Was that Spider-Man: No Way Home? Just going back to that for a second. We all know that obviously the Sinister Six, of which there were 5, were in it. And Sandman was one of them. And you and I had a conversation previously about the fact that Thomas Hayden Church was not actually on set. He did the voice for it, but he was not really there. All of the mocap for that, was actually performed by John Watts.
The director.
The director performed Sandman's movements on the movie set. So John Watts finally appeared in a Marvel movie as Sandman.
Wow.
There you go. So I know that you were speculating on who that was and what was going on with it, or whether it was just fully CG. Well, technically, the mocap, it was John Watts, and it was Thomas Hayden Church doing the voice. There you go.
The power of Disney, like they unstoppable.
Exactly. So yeah, there you go. That's today's tips and bits. I apologize, it's gone on way longer because we went on a big old Doctor Who rant with that. So I apologize, but no, it was good. You know, there's loads happening out there, guys. There's too much news in the world. We just can't handle it. You know, Zane. Good.
Yes.
Thanks, Zane.
Yeah. There's so much happening. So much.
Yeah, I think we're going to. Yeah, I've got an idea for next week's show that I wanted to talk to you about, which we'll talk about off air. But yeah, it might be a first for us. So we'll talk about that later. But anyway, we won't talk super long about Kingsman. Let's talk about the recently released Disney Plus film Kingsman. Sorry, The Kingsman. The Kingsman.
The Kingsman.
God, that is hard. These effing movies these days, it's getting worse. Like, honestly, stop just adding "the" in front of a title. It's really annoying. I was trying to describe to my 73-year-old father today. Well, no, he's 75. He's 75 this year. Like, I was trying to explain to him the difference between Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad, and then Batman and The Batman. And then he was like, "Have you seen Kingsman?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen Kingsman, the one with Taron Egerton." And he's like, "No, the one with Ralph Fiennes." And I went, "Oh, you mean The Kingsman?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's what I said, Kingsman." And I'm like, "No, Dad, it's The Kingsman. The Kingsman, not Kingsman." He's like, what's the difference? And I'm like, "Well, you're an English teacher, or you were an English teacher. It's how you spell it." And he's like, "What? That's ridiculous. Why don't you just call it something else, like the Kingsman prequel?" And I'm like, "No, Dad, because that's not what they do in Hollywood these days."
Because no one would get it.
Exactly. Nobody would understand. But apparently this is a Kingsman movie set in the early 20th century. Anyway, he liked it.
Good. After all that.
Anyway, yes. So The Kingsman. It's a departure from what we were used to because unlike being set in modern day, this one is a prequel showing us the origins of the Kingsmen. What did you think of this movie, Zane?
I really liked it. I'm going to give it an undisputed rating straight out the box.
What's the plot of it?
The plot of said movie is English gentlemen must stop a war.
Why are you saying that with a question mark?
I'm trying to. No, wait, because there's a war that takes place, but I think they're trying to end the war that is currently happening because they want to stop our young boys dying on the battlefield and all that jazz.
Yeah, you're kind of it. So yeah, this takes place before the beginning of the First World War, and then events happen in it as they did in real life, which triggered the First World War, and then we get what's happening with that and what the culmination of that is going to, like, how it kind of not ends, but like how it goes on. Ralph Fiennes. Oh, go on.
I was just going to add, I guess this is kind of like the first sort of espionage as well, like the whole concept of espionage and trade in secrets and things of that nature.
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, the thing that surprised me the most about this is the fact that it's turned up on Disney Plus. To be perfectly honest with you, because it's a Mark Millar property, and they've got the Millerverse on Netflix. So true. I'm surprised that this has come up here, and it's kind of like been signed off with because obviously Netflix have got, they've got Wanted, they've got Kick-Ass, and
Super
all the
Crooks.
yeah, exactly. So it's kind of weird that it's turned up on this. I'm surprised that Netflix don't have the rights to it.
Isn't this a Fox?
Yeah, it is.
property?
It is.
I think it's the last Fox property.
Was it the last one?
I think
the last
that's
one?
why it got delayed as well. Because
I know. Yeah, yes. It's because he was. He was like a creative consultant to Fox, wasn't it? Before they got bought out. Yes, I do remember. But I mean, famously, like Netflix bought Millarworld for like God knows how much. So that's why I'm just surprised that it's on Disney Plus. That's all. It was just a kind of, when you think about Jupiter Ascending and all the stuff they've been doing with the Millerverse, like it's Millarverse. Sorry, I keep saying Millerverse. It's not just a windmill operator or anything like that, making some grain. But yeah. So yeah, I guess let's kind of go through some of the things in it. So it's got Ralph Fiennes in it. You're gonna make me say that name, Jaimon. I can never say his name.
Isn't it?
Please
Dijon Hunzo? Honzo?
Let's
Dijon
go with that.
Honzo. Yeah.
Yep, that. Gemma Arterton. And sorry, I like her a lot. And everyone's favorite lizard. There he is. There he is. Who is it, Zane? Who is it?
I don't know his full name. Isn't it Reese something?
Reese Evans? You don't know who Reese Evans is?
I didn't know his full name. I said.
Yeah, Reese Evans. The who doesn't look anything like Reese Evans until he talks. And he's also, you might recognize him as well from Man in Pants in the film Notting Hill.
Or famously, Luna Lovegood's dad in Harry Potter.
Yeah, you could also go with that as well. I mean, just go with what you know. I know him as Man in Pants, but there you go. That's fine. Yeah. So yeah, I really like this film. We also get the I've forgotten his name. I apologize. Let me find his name. But we also get a new appearance from that bloke in the pictures on the left there. Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find his name. I will find his name. Hold on, guys. Harry Dickinson. That's him. That's him. Conrad Oxford. Yes. So, oh man, there's so many good people in this. Like Matthew Good's in this as well, who was famously Ozymandias in the Watchmen franchise.
Yes. Yeah.
Like we've got Stanley Tucci's in this as the first Merlin who turns up at the end. Yeah. It's very weird. But yes. So basically, it's the machinations of the secret organization behind the scenes, kind of like a weird kind of James Bondy Spectre type group.
Yeah.
So you've got this guy who he speaks with a very broad Scottish accent, you bastard. And he's doing all these kind of things. He's doing all these kind of tricks, all this cunning conniving behind the scenes. And he's got his cabal of agents. And he identifies those cabal of agents by rings with animals on them. And what is Reese Evans Rasputin? Why, it's the famous turtle. So
doesn't he have like a whole argument about maybe being a bear or something?
Yeah,
he's like,
a Russian bear, but no, he's the tortoise. But anyway, whilst this is going on, whilst there's all these political machinations going on in the world, the Duke of Oxford, Ralph Fiennes, is making waves in Britain. He's established himself. He's basically been an agent for the British Empire. Got himself injured. He's got a bit of the old bad limp, and he's had a son. And they're going on peacekeeping missions around the world with his wife and his son, and they go to Africa. With I guess I think his name's Shola in the film, which is did you want? I can't even say it. You say it. Dijon mustard. What are you talking about?
A bit like Dijon mustard, yeah.
Okay, Dijon. Who? Oh, forget it. That guy. Huson. Thank you. And they're going around the world, and they go to Africa, where the British are basically being swines. And doing some nefarious things. They are, let's just say, they're supposed to be a peacekeeping force, the British Army, but they're not. They're doing some bad things, and the Duke of Oxford is there to straighten them out. Whilst they're there, there are insurgents, and unfortunately, the Duke of Oxford's wife is shot and killed in front of his son. So that's kind of where the film begins, and then it goes quite quickly forward in time. We see that Conrad, the son, has grown up into a man, and because of what happened to his mother, the Duke of Oxford does not want him to go enlist in the army or be involved in danger in any stretch of the imagination. And we also see, because of this Scottish man, this burly Scottish man who is creating all of these problems, war is coming. Nations are boiling. There's fury. There's things in the world that are happening, Zane. It's a wild time in the world. What's happening in the world, Zane? I'm not just talking about in modern day, although it's terrifyingly prescient at the moment. But yes, there's things boiling. But Conrad wants to go and fight. However, the Duke of Oxford does not want him to. So I like, when I was watching this, I was like, oh, cool. Okay, so they're kind of doing the Eggsy story early. We're seeing like the first, obviously Colin Firth and Taron Egerton in the Kingsman, the Secret Service, or whatever it's called. I can't remember what the
Golden
film's
Circle?
called.
Was
No,
that
Golden
sequel?
Circle's the second one. It's the Secret Service. It's Kingsman, the Secret Service. And I thought they were doing, oh, cool, they're doing like a prequel version of that.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be like, it's always kind of this way. It's like, there's always a master and an apprentice. There must always be two. And I think going into this, certainly in the first half of the film, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So he's the Eggsy of his day, and he's going to be the Kingsman that we're talking about. Like he's the prodigy that will become the first template for secret agents. So obviously, like Ralph Fiennes' character was kind of like a spy and an established army man, so he has all the skills and the tricks of being a Kingsman. He's obviously, he's got his manners, which, as we all know, maketh man. Yes, and so he's very close with the British Army, with the British Navy, with all the military government. They set him on a mission because I can't remember what his official title is in the show, but basically Charles Dance is in this.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna say it right now. I absolutely adore Charles Dance. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. He's incredible. He's just a fascinating man. And he's done so much stuff with his life. When you think about where he's come from and what he's done, and the way, 'cause he's not actually particularly well read or comes from particularly great standing in the world, but because of his voice, he sounds so authoritarian and like a proper, a proper. But he's not. But he's just incredible. Anyway, he's playing basically the commander of the military, the UK military. Let's say that. And so he's very good friends with the Duke of Oxford. So the Duke of Oxford is sent on a mission to deal with Rasputin.
Yep.
Now, this whole section with Rasputin and the Duke of Oxford and Conrad and Gemma Arterton's character Molly as well, it is my favorite part of this film, easily my favorite part of this film, because I'm sorry guys, right? There is we've referred to it in the past, and I'm bringing it back for this occasion. There is the Richard E. Grant scale of acting talent that we refer to on the show. The scale ranges for it's a scale for your own liking. So you can put the benchmarks on there. We normally like to use it as is the actor doing his finest piece of work, which for our money is Richard E. Grant in With Nail and I, or is he hamming it up but doesn't care because he's earning a packet, like Richard E. Grant in Spice World, the movie? Now, for me, Rhys Ifans in this film is
Yeah.
full on Spice Worlding it, but he's
is.
fantastic whilst he does it. It's amazing. So he plays Rasputin as this kind of like. I love when he's introduced as well in this scene. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can see the picture that's in front of you, but I will describe it for those who are listening. They go to a ballroom. Rasputin's having this very elegant, ridiculous upper class dance for people, and he comes into the room with two women on either arm, and like he just floats. Like they portray him like floating across the floor, and it's so creepy. But because the way he looks, and because it's Rhys Ifans overacting like a mofo, it's amazing.
And doesn't Ralph Fiennes say it's like based off some sort of Russian ballerina technique?
Yes, it is. He's on his tippy toes. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is even better. Then it just makes it look even more ridiculously fantastic. But yeah, I guess the idea is that Rasputin is trained as or had classical dance training and ballerina training. So he's very flexible. He's a very flexible boy. He's also supposed to be mystical, like he's practicing dark arts, and he has the secrets to healing. Now, I will say this, whilst I do love this part of the movie, their plan is to poison him. So they make Molly make one of her famous Bakewell tarts, which he's going to love. He's going to woof it down and it's going to kill him. That's the idea. But they have to make him eat the Bakewell tart. Rasputin has a thing for young boys, apparently, which is why they use the Conrad Oxford as bait. Conrad doesn't do well, unfortunately. He fails in his mission to get Rasputin alone. However, the Duke of Oxford is always up for a bit of fun. So he manages to get Rasputin alone. Rasputin has because he's yeah, I love the excuse they use for it as well. It's fantastic because he eats the Bakewell tart and he says it's delicious. He also the poison doesn't work on him because he's been poisoned so many times because so many people have tried to kill him. He's basically immune to them. Is the excuse they give. But I'm going to ask you about this bit, Zane. So when he arrives in this room, the Duke of Oxford has a limp.
Yes.
When he leaves the room, he doesn't have a limp. Why?
It's a crazy scene, but Rasputin uses his dark magic to heal the Duke's injured knee, and it is the most outrageous scene you'll ever see because it's not only is it him trying to strip the Duke and he's like, oh no, please be careful, but there's him licking the scar on his knee and stuff, and it's just like you said.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I did not think that the Kingsman was going to turn me on so much, but good God Almighty! If you want to see Rhys Ifans practicing faux fellatio on Ralph Fiennes, then go and watch this film. It's quite extraordinary. And the thing is, people are going to look at me and think I'm exaggerating that. Go and watch it. It's very exciting scene. Anyway, it works. It works. He doesn't have a limp
magic
anymore.
Works, yeah.
I wonder if it was a psychosomatic addict insane thing, to quote the Prodigy, where maybe it was in his head that the limp because of just trauma from his wife and stuff like that, and maybe Rasputin made him let it go. The end result is though that they drown Rasputin, so obviously obviously has a perfect effect. But they do succeed in their mission. It's not enough.
That fight sequence was like unbelievable as well. Like
yes,
Rasputin almost doing these weird dance moves to dodge punches, kicks, knives, bullets. Like it is wild to say the least.
You find out quite earlier on why Rasputin is quite formidable in the sense of like he's really good at fighting. Like he fights off 3 of them at once just by himself, just with his crazy ass moves. It's a fantastic scene. Easily my favorite scene of this film. I loved this whole sequence in the ballroom with Rasputin and stuff. Rhys Ifans was like, when I talk about overacting in terms of like Spice World the musical and Spice World the movie, sorry, and Richard E. Grant scale and stuff like that, I don't mean that in an insulting way, by the way. I mean that in one of the most complimentary ways possible, because we here at the Undisputed Nerds absolutely adore Richard E. Grant, and to compare his acting to this is like one of the finest compliments. And it's like, I don't mean that he's like terrible or he's really bad in it. I just mean that he's so over the top that you can't take your eyes off of him. And like, that is 100% what Rhys Ifans is like. And when he dies in the film, for me, that's when this film actually took a bit of a dip. I'm not joking that. I enjoyed this film, and I'm with you. I put it on an Undisputed as far as the rating's concerned. But after this point, I thought the film kind of lost its way. I really did. So like from there, I mean, we get basically it plays out like it played out with World War I in real life, where the Archduke of Austro-Hungary, is it, I think, or somewhere like that. I apologize, my history's not the best, but is shot, and that's what triggers World War I. You get the fighting in the trenches, and all the people are dying, but Conrad Oxford just wants to go and fight. However, he can't. He's forbidden to by his dad because he doesn't want his son to go off to war and die. Anyway, Conrad ignores him and goes off.
Doesn't he turn 18 as well? Which means he does require permission.
Doesn't require permission anymore. However, and we didn't mention this earlier on, I should have mentioned it. Tom Hollander is in this, another incredibly good actor who turns up. He's better known as Warlander. He's also for those of you who are not aware who he is, he's in Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3. He is the commander of the British Navy in 2 and 3.
Yes.
He is the king. He's King George in this. He's also, Nicholas II, whatever it is, in Russia, and he's also the twin in France, or whatever it is. Basically, he's playing triplets in this. He's really good as well. He's really, really good in this.
Does he play all three? I thought he just played 2. Wow.
No, it's the same actor just doing all 3. It's the same actor doing all 3. But yeah, oh god, I've just seen a picture of Rhys Ifans eating the pie. But yeah, that's him. Yeah, it's the same. If you find another picture of him, if there's another picture of him playing the Russian oligarch, and then the other guy, I can't remember who it is, but yeah, he's all 3. I think it's the Germans, isn't it? It's German king, Russian king, and British king, I think is the 3 that he's playing. Anyway, the Duke of Oxford has been given reassurances by the King of England that he will not prescribe his son to go to war. He's going to keep him out of it. So, and I thought this was I genuinely thought this was a really nice touch. Conrad switches places with Private Lee Unwin.
Yeah.
Do you know who Lee Unwin was, Zane?
I don't, sadly.
It was Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Oh, I didn't realize you meant. I thought you meant that as in real life.
No.
No.
Yeah, actor-wise is who I meant. Yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who showed up. Obviously, he's kick-ass. So it was nice to see him in another Mark Millar property. I thought it was quite cool.
Rocking a nice Scottish accent as well.
He was rocking a nice Scottish accent. That's why immediately when I saw him, I was like, wait, is that the guy who's caused all this? Why is he on the front line? But it wasn't him. So, Conrad goes off to war. This was the point where I was like, it subverted my expectations quite a lot. Because he goes to war, and we have this big, wonderful moment where he's doing his heroic I've saved the spy kind of thing from the Nazis, and it wasn't the Nazis then, sorry, it was just Germans in general. And I've saved him, I've come back, I've got the hero's welcome, and then he gets shot in the head and dies.
Yeah, considering he dodged so many explosions and everything else around him.
And he dodged faux fellatio from I was genuinely shocked at that. Like, I was really, really like me and my wife when we saw this together at the cinema. We were like, "What the hell?
It
What
really
is that?"
catches you off guard. Yeah, because
Yeah.
wasn't he. Oh, he makes it to the trenches as well,
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
he? It's not like
He's
it's
killed
just
by his
before
own.
it.
Yeah, he basically holds up the. He holds up the. It is the Nazis, isn't it? He holds up like an insignia, basically, that has
Yeah.
like a German brand on it, and they call him a Nazi spy and kill him. And it's like it is literally just like out of nowhere as well. It's so it takes you so by surprise. It's unbelievable.
Don't they? Because he swapped places with Aaron Taylor Johnson, and he's wearing his uniform.
Yeah.
Aren't they like, this is a bit sus because you're not Scottish and you're not my friend. Why
Yeah.
are you wearing his like uniform and such? And that's why
Yes.
they all think he's a spy as well, don't they?
Yes,
and
you're
that's why he
right.
gets.
Yeah. That's why
Yeah,
he gets shot.
It really escalates like out of nowhere.
Because they'd set him up to be the conquering hero who's going to save the world, kind of thing. They really did, and like you think to yourself, oh, there's no way that they're going to kill off the main young guy because they're going to set a franchise up around him, and it's like, no, he's gone like instantly in a flash, and it's just it just I don't know. For me, it kind of like it was great to subvert expectations, but man, it brings the film down. Like, really brings the film down because you're just like, oh, dude, like, what is this?
It's weird, a very, very weird twist. That like you say, the young hero type is just taken out like right in front of us.
Yeah,
and then there's a real hanging question, like, where does the movie go from here?
Yeah, and then we kind of get the Duke of Oxford being really depressed, understandably so, when you lose your child and you've lost your wife previously. So yeah, he's just kind of like, lost with himself, and then he gets a bit of news about the war and how the war's going. There you go. Yeah, it's all the same guy. Sorry, he's just sorry, guys, for those listening. He's just shown an image of Tom Hollander as the triplets and the different appearances that he's got in this film. And yes, it's the same actor. So yeah, he's really bummed out and he's really depressed. Molly, Gemma Arterton, is the one who snaps him out of it because the king needs him. The Secret Service need him. And they found the location of the guy who's behind all of this conspiracy. And Ralph Fiennes is the only one with the skills to take him down. Because, gosh darn it, Ralph Fiennes is such a handsome devil. So, yeah. We get the reveal of who the Scottish gentleman is. And it's Matthew Good. Matthew Good, again, Ozymandias fame. He has turned up in previous scenes. So he's been the lieutenant to Charles Dance's Big Bad General. And yeah, he hates the British, basically. He hates the English with a passion, wants to ruin them, wants to just basically cause anarchy and just destroy the empire. That's his main goal. What did you think of the bad guy in this and the reveal itself?
It didn't blow me away. Like, I wasn't expecting it. It made a lot of sense because there's like a sequence where a submarine explodes, but he's a survivor from that submarine and stuff. Yeah, so it was kind of like, oh, okay. I have to admit, as I watched this film, I thought it was David Tennant. Like, even though David Tennant doesn't make an appearance in this movie, I was like, that's Gus Hansen. I was like, that could be David Tennant. Like,
it did. I know what you mean. It did. I thought of David Tennant immediately as well. But I think that's because of how much you and I both love him. That as soon as you hear a Scottish accent, it's just like, it's David Tennant. Because we could have equally gone, oh, it's a Scottish accent. It's Sean Connery.
Yeah, or Gerard Butler, or
Gerard Butler. Now that would have been something to behold, wouldn't it? Good God Almighty, sexy Gerard Butler coming on. He'd have to have his shirt off.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Well, I don't know actually. If it's Olympus Has Fallen, Gerard Butler, he's more of a Liam Neeson. I hate the world old man, isn't he? So I don't know. That's a hard. That yeah, I've made a dodgy call there. It could
I
well
was
be.
thinking more of How to Train Your Dragons, sort of Gerard Butler, you know.
No, did you almost do a Scottish accent then? You were
Yeah,
you
I
were
did.
virgin on it. I like that.
Yeah, I was tiptoeing
like
around there. I don't know why.
I like that. Yeah, so we get. Actually, it was a really good fight sequence. I have to say, I did enjoy
Yeah.
that fight sequence. He's got a really cool lair. The bad guy in the like Matthew Good's like villain. It's very cool. Just this weird like farm on top of a mountain with these weird goats. I will say that was one of the most anxiety-inducing scenes when Ralph Fiennes is trying to parachute onto the mountain because he's trying to get up there and there's a bunch of mountain goats who are like on the edge of it, and I did not want to see one of those mountain goats fall off the edge of the mountain. I was really invested.
Yeah, that it's like you say, it was, I don't know why, but for the longest time it was very sort of fear intoxicating. Look at this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was when it woke him up, wasn't it? He was like passed out because he slammed his head into the side of the mountain when he landed. It was. I mean, I guess you could say when you look at this, it was a kind of a generic kind of like, oh, it's a classic action shootout ending. You know what you see is what you get. That was the bit of the trailer. Like I saw that bit in the trailer where he throws the grenade and he holds a shield, and I was like, is that enough to stop a grenade? I don't know if it is, but it was fine. It was it was a nice like show-stopping finale kind of thing. And then the end of it, we get the establishment of the Kingsmen as we know them. So Lancelot, Merlin, all these other kind of jazz.
Galahad,
we found out that Eggsy's name of Lancelot is from his son, because it was like a code name that he had when he was younger. Lancelot, he used it as a Knights of the Round Table kind of situation, you know, and that's what the Kingsman is based off of. So it's the ultimate tribute to his son. We obviously get the introduction of the first Merlin. We get the introduction, which is Stanley Tucci. We get
it's Dijon. Dijon's
it's Dijon first.
Yeah, I think Tucci is supposed to be the countryman that would go on to the US.
Oh,
I think that's what they're trying to say.
I got you. Yeah, the branch out. No, Tucci's listed as Merlin in this.
Is he?
Yeah. That's weird. They must have got that wrong. Boo to you, IMDb. Your listings suck. Anyway, regardless. So Aaron Taylor Johnson's then part of them as well. And it's all established. It's all kind of status quo moving forward. And then one person we didn't mention who's in this, Daniel Brühl.
Yes.
He comes back for a little after credits sting, doesn't he?
Oh, this after credits thing.
I know, it's always the way, isn't it?
To laugh out loud.
So Daniel Brühl is introducing. So it seems like Daniel Brühl has taken over the shadowy corporation that's the Angry Scotsman. Matthew Good was running, and he is now in charge of it. And he is introducing. That's an unfortunate picture to land on. And he's now introducing. Who is he introducing? Actually, is he introducing Stalin to Hitler?
Yes. Yeah.
So basically, he's establishing the beginning of the Second World War, and that's how the film ends. Is that little tease? Yeah, there you go. Lovely. I mean, his mustache is not as we know it, but it would become that way. It's David Cross who's playing that, isn't it? David Cross is playing Hitler in that.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, he's not a famous actor or anything like that. He's just a kind of like he's been in some really random things, but I think he is German. I know that for a fact. I only know him because I lived in Munich for a while. But yeah, this film. Again, it's Undisputed. I liked it. I did enjoy it a lot. I will say about this film, for my money, it lasted too long. it did not need to be as long as this. It took me by surprise, the twist where Conrad is the one who dies. I didn't necessarily like it. And I think you could have cut that part of the movie out. You could have easily just said, okay, Conrad's gone to war against his dad's wishes, and we don't know what's happened to him. And then he turns up at the end and he joins the Kingsmen as a man after his dad's like done all of this stuff. Like, you could have easily done that. I don't think you needed the whole bit with the trenches. I really don't think you needed to establish it, because I think I understand that then Ralph Fiennes creates the Kingsman as like the tribute to his son. But by the same token, I don't know. It just felt really like the film definitely, after Rasputin died, the film definitely took a turn for the worst. And it just felt kind of like a bit flat for a while. And the World War II scene became more harrowing than it did. Oh, sorry, World War I scene, became more harrowing than enjoyable in that moment. Like it wasn't. I didn't particularly find it that in a light entertainment movie. I didn't find it that fun in that part, and I thought it dragged the movie down a bit. What did you think of this?
I really enjoyed this. So I would probably say I preferred this more than the second movie.
Oh, I preferred it more than the Golden Circle, 100%.
Yeah, and dare I say, probably more than most Bond movies as well. Like, there was so many, there were twists and turns, like you say, and there is a bit of a, like, how do I explain it? There is this sort of point midway where it just feels like it's a little draggy, like
a lull period.
Yeah. But I really like the action. I wasn't expecting Ralph Fiennes to be so charismatic in his role. Like, for me, I've only known him from Voldemort, and Voldemort is, I find, hilariously interesting. I think he's like, anytime he screams or does something weird like hug Malfoy, I find it the most awkward but hilarious stuff. So for me to see him in this movie, which I wasn't expecting him to be so charismatic, this caring father figure, it changed my mind and blew me away. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I didn't find it too overcomplicated to follow neither, because like you said, even though you had the same actor play triplets, really simple and easy. Wild characters like Rasputin in there. Again, similar to you, when he died, I felt kind of like, oh, it's a shame I don't get to see any more of that now. Like, I don't get to see that wildness
Exactly.
and anymore. But yeah, it's I guess it is a movie of two halves, but it's I'd say it's definitely worth a watch either way. And great cast, great characters, and yeah, I really if they do a sequel, I'd be more than happy to buy a ticket to go see the sequel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be down on this film. I enjoyed it a lot, like I really did. I just think the pacing was a bit off at that point in it. I agree with you. I don't think they're going to make another one. I would severely doubt they'll make a sequel. I mean, we'll see. I believe they are going to make Kingsman 3, and it is in the works. And Taron Egerton is I think they are filming it, or they're making it as we speak. Kingsman 2 is it's difficult for me. Kingsman 2, like I loved like the Kingsman: The Secret Society is still, or the Secret Service is still my favorite, like of this franchise. Like, it's amazing. Like, it's still amazing to this day. I watched that recently, and like, just the first time that Colin Firth flings a pint glass into a punk's head in that is just fantastic. But the Golden Circle was. The thing that really annoyed me about the Golden Circle was the idea that like you can bring someone back from the dead from a from a gunshot to the head.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how Colin Firth gets shot in the head in the first one, and then he's back in the sequel. Like, because they've got a miracle gel that will heal everything. That was awful. That was the worst part of that film. It was so bad. I hated it. And it really, if you have a stupid premise like that, then it's just like, oh my god, like the whole thing falls apart, you know. And then like actors who are supposed to be in it for the whole thing just aren't in it at all. You know, and it was just, it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. The baddie wasn't particularly good in that either.
No,
I think it was,
I didn't really like why it was centered around Elton John so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
presumably because Taron Egerton wanted to do Rocket Man.
Sure, but I mean,
I know.
to the extent, yeah, I don't
know. But yeah, look, this was a good film. I don't think it's going to get a sequel. I would be really surprised if this got a sequel. Not because it was bad, but just because I don't think I'm not sure what the box office numbers were for this. I don't think it was particularly crazy. And I mean, where do you realistically, where do you go from here with a sequel without it just being more of the same?
I'm going to throw a pitch out there. What if it's Aaron Taylor Johnson on a mission with Molly? Like that's that.
I guess you could do
that's
that. Yeah.
all I can imagine.
What? And it turns out they're Eggsy's grandparents.
Maybe.
Is that what we're going to see?
I mean, they set up that end credit scene was such an Avengers like level, and I nearly threw up in my mouth where he was like, "My name is Adolf Hitler," and I'm like,
it was so shoehorned in. I hated it. It did honestly. It did feel like somebody just went, right, so we've done the film. Yeah, okay, it's in the can. It's great. Okay, that's really good. Yeah, we like it. We like really, you know, Ralph Fiennes is great in it. We've got all the cast. Gemma Arterton, she's super sexy. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, we've hit all the notes we want to hit. And so, what? There's no after credit sting. But after credit sting are that's what's hot in Hollywood right now. We've got to have one. We've got to have one. Wait, what's the time period? What's the time period? Hold on, I've got this, guys. Hold with me. Hang on. Time period. I'm seeing Germans. I'm seeing Russians. Hitler. Done. Shoot it, guys.
Book it. Yeah.
I'm 99% sure that's probably what the marketing meeting was around Kingsman. We're not going to do a sequel, are we? No, it doesn't matter. Everyone just wants stings, man. Everyone just wants stings. Just make one. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Are we going to get banned on YouTube for saying Adolf Hitler too much? Please be kind to us, YouTube. He's in the film.
Yeah.
We're talking about a character.
Maybe I need to change the category this podcast lands in to
entertainment, semi-factual entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, might be a thought. Anyway, let us know if you think we're going to be banned on YouTube. Oh god, but yeah, regardless, I enjoyed the Kingsman. I don't think it's a good idea for them to do a sequel to this particular one. I think it's pointless. I think they should just carry on with Taron Egerton's run and finish off his Eggsy trilogy. And yeah, if you haven't seen this, it's on Disney Plus. I would highly recommend giving it a watch, even just once. It does lull a little bit in the middle, but if you can get through it, it's well worth it. And it's a fun old romp. Would you agree with that assertion, Zane?
100%. It's definitely a knees up.
A knees up?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. That's apparently one of our new rating systems.
Why not?
Zane's going off the chain today, guys. For those of you who have seen Kingsman or The Kingsman, what did you think of it? Did you enjoy it? Did you like it more on Disney Plus versus at the cinema? Did you like this more than the modern day versions of Kingsman, The Secret Service? Let us know. UndisputedNerds@gmail.com. You can also reach us on YouTube. Drop some comments in below. You can also reach us on Instagram, on Facebook. Zane, where can they reach you personally so that all those reality TV producers can get in touch with you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Zane_Taicho. Of course, links will be in description down below. Gigi, you're back on Twitch? I'm streaming?
I'm twitching it up like a storm, my friend.
Yeah.
Once a week. Yeah, I am. I'm on. I've gone back to Twitch, so every Mondays at the moment, I'm doing Twitchity-roo. So you can find me on Twitch at Gentlemanly Gamer on Twitch. You can also find me on Instagram. I am there. I will respond to DMs if you send them to me because I'm lonely. I'm not really... don't send me dick pics, guys. I don't need to see that. Thanks, all the same. You know, I just don't need to see it. But the admiration is appreciated. But you know, I've got my own. It's fine. So Zane,
yes.
Next week, I think it's pretty obvious what we're going to be talking about next week, isn't it?
Team me up.
Oh come on, man! You and I are going to go and see the Batman together on Friday.
Oh right, we're going to see it on we're seeing it on the Friday. I take it we'll talk about
Shall I talk to you about it on air? Do you want me to talk to you about it on air?
No, we'll talk about it off air. I do have a shameless plug though. You ready for this?
I know it's going to be Undisputed Anime, so go ahead.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I did my own YouTube video, best anime of 2021.
God, this guy's an absolute YouTube whore. Look at him.
Make sure you check out Zane Taicho channel. Again, links will be in the description down below. I recap some of the best anime and manga of 2021. Also, I do a little bit of gaming streaming on YouTube as well. I might do Elden Ring. Later.
Right. Oh, yeah. Everyone's going after Elden Ring. I bought Cyberpunk this week. Cyberpunk 2077.
I nearly bought that. Yeah, I saw
it was on sale. It was half price basically, and I was like, they've just apparently patched it to fix it on Series X. So I'm like, well, if they've apparently fixed it, and apparently it is fixed as well. It is very good apparently now on Series X. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bite the bullet and go for it. So once I've finished Far Cry 6, which I'm currently playing through, God, honestly, it's like all these. I will say that Games Pass has been an absolute joy and a curse for me when it comes to games, because it's like, I hope my friend Kush Completionist is not listening to this, because this kind of backs up his argument where he says, I start so many games now, and then I don't get the time to finish them because I'm just like, oh, that's really good on Games Pass. Oh, they've released something really good on Games Pass. Oh, wait, something else is coming out on Games Pass. Oh no, this is on Games Pass now. So yeah, I'm trying to basically go through my backlog of disc games that I've been bought, like Far Cry, which is not on Games Pass at the moment. But then, you know, something else, like they released the Hitman trilogy on Games Pass recently. I was just like, oh, it's so good. It's so good, Zane. It's so good. I have to play it. So yeah. First world problems.
Absolutely. Here we are.
Anyway, I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say that's everything. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing, like, share, and all that jazz. I said that in the wrong order, but don't worry about it. We'll still go on.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, I don't know why I said subscribe, like, then share, but hey.
I don't know why either, but hey, click the bell notification to get more things from us on YouTube.
Notifications.
Yeah, that'll do. I don't care. Something like that. Do what you want. It's up to you.
Yeah, make sure to check us out next week, and yeah, we'll be back. So don't you be sour.
Right. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you next week.
Cheers. Bye-bye.